Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good
Evening.
evening.
Wherever you are on our amazing planet. I am Ariel.
That would mean I am Shya.
Welcome to being here.
Yes, welcome to being here.
Being where?
Being here.
That's
right.
Being here.
Yes. We talk a lot about living in the moment. People talk about being here and living in the moment and doing their life right. Well, you can't do being. They're separate entities, universes apart.
Being right, wrong, good, bad, better, worse.
That isn't part of being.
That's a part of doing. That's a part of our judgment system.
That's a part of getting somewhere other than where you are, as though that's going to be a better place. And most people have that idea that a better place is somewhere they're going to or somewhere they've come from, and that this place is just okay. Rather than this place is where your life is taking place, this moment. This
right here, right now.
Yes.
Not too long ago, it was a while ago, back in November, we did
relatively not too long ago.
Relatively speaking, we did a course, a virtual weekend seminar called Reclaiming Your Sense of Wonder. And I woke up the Sunday of the course, and my experience was not wonderful, as in I woke up feeling a little disgruntled or grouchy, or like there was a tension in me. And it was really relieving to allow myself to be that way, not act it out, not be grouchy to other people, but to not try to be different, as if feeling happy was better than feeling tight. When you allow yourself to be exactly as you are without judging how you are, it completes itself. And then you have the next moment and the next moment, rather than a repeat of the last moment,
Because when you resist something, that's what you get stuck to. So if you don't like the way life is going, you get stuck there.
I wouldn't be surprised if, as Shya and I are talking today, or soon we'll have a couple of guests on, we'll be having a conversation with them, that you stop to think about what's being said. There's a different possibility where you let it wash over you, where you simply hear it without having to step back to consider it, think about it, judge it, evaluate it, see if it's true.
Agree with it, disagree with it.
What if we just hear it?
Oh, by the way, Ariel and I finish each other's sentences.
We do.
So if and when I interrupt her.
Never. It's possible that what's being said here today could be the music of your moment, as opposed to something that you need to apply in order to make yourself a better person. What if there's no better to get to? What if being here is enough? How about we take our first guest?
Let's.
Naz, welcome to being here. Tell people where you're zooming in from today.
Oh, hi, Ariel and Shya. I'm Naz, and I am zooming in from Farringdon in Oxfordshire in the UK.
Oxfordshire.
What was the first word?
Farringdon.
It's Farringdon.
Yeah.
In Oxfordshire.
Yeah.
That's...
It's so lovely. It's so lovely to be here. And I really love the title of the show, because earlier today I have a day off, and I was going to had some plans, and I woke up with a bit of a migraine. And it was really interesting how my brain was like, well, no, you have to do these things. And my body was really a no. And I actually spent the day doing very little, which has been really refreshing, actually.
Well, that's very interesting. because I woke up without a headache, but very much not doing anything this morning.
And don't you
Maybe I was
in
picking
tune
you
with
up
you?
in your universe.
It's funny though, how we have an internal pressure to produce as if not producing makes us somehow a slacker or less or something.
Lazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that word zip through my head this morning.
Well, it was great that it zipped through. It didn't, take root there.
Go in here and stay there.
It might have stayed there for a minute or two.
Well, if it stayed there for a minute or two, but didn't get lodged there permanently, chances are
You saw it
Mhm.
and let it be, because it would have otherwise stayed if you kept resisting it.
Yeah. And what's so lovely is what I notice is I don't often give myself permission. You were saying earlier, Shia, that you woke up, you didn't have a headache, and you didn't do, you did very little this morning. And I noticed that when I am well, or haven't got a headache, I will continue to work. And it's interesting. And I've just, when I get a headache, I'll stop. But giving myself permission to rest and not do. I do a lot of doing. So yeah, just something I'm noticing.
It's interesting though. Our minds are like pendulums. You swing to not doing, and then the conversation can often be, "Oh, I'm not doing anything. I'm lazy, bad, whatever." And then over here is, "I'm doing a lot." And then there can be like, "Oh, I'm a doer. I do all the time. I don't rest." On either end of the spectrum, you can be hard on yourself for being you.
Yeah. 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 I recognize that one. Very much so. Yes, I think.
We could stop there. So do we all. We think.
And thinking is oft times about something other than where you are currently in your life. You think about what you have to do in the future. You think about what you should have done differently in the past. Rarely do you just allow yourself to be where you are.
Oh, yes. Yes. That's very true, actually. And I tend to do that. Yeah, especially when I find things confronting. Um,
Very well said. I
yeah.
didn't say that.
What kind of things might you find confronting? Just curious, because I have a feeling people have that question for themselves.
Yeah. Confronting with work or relationship or so if for example, um if there is a project that I'm finding challenging, I'll take myself away and think about the future. I have currently a few projects that there's one specific writing project that I'm finding a bit challenging. So I'm um yeah, I find a lot of things confronting relationships. I think recently myself and my husband Lawrence have had communication challenges. I think that's been part and parcel of our relationship, really, on ongoing. And it's easier to take myself to the future rather than be there and be in that.
Not to try to fix your relationship, because I can't do that for you, but I might suggest that you listen when Lawrence speaks to you. See, listening isn't agreeing or disagreeing with, it's hearing what another person has to say. Now, if you just listen, you don't need to respond. You don't need to prove your point of view right. You could actually hear what they're saying. Of course, that requires them to be willing to say what's going on. And if Lawrence is in a I'm not talking mood, then you've got a little bit of a problem. But you could listen to that too.
Yeah,
In other words, you could allow him to be the way he is, exactly the way he is, rather than the way you would like him to be.
That's very cool.
you know,
Yeah.
you talk about writing and that you hit a place where you don't know, and it's easy to run. It's confronting, and you're heading off to the future. It's is a possibility. Sometimes when Shya and I write something, Naz, and it's fairly well done, I'll read it out loud to us. And there may come a moment where I look over and Shya's off thinking about where
Something
we're
else.
fishing next, or and then we, instead of thinking that that tendency to go off to the future or back to the past is a problem, we realize that there's something in that paragraph that isn't quite gelled right, that it's not accurate, it doesn't really reflect what we want to say, it sent us off somewhere else. And so instead of treating our minds as if they're wrong, they're indicators that there's something in our environment driving us away from here. So it's also a possibility that when you and Lawrence are speaking, if you start thinking about, oh gosh, where is this relationship going? Or, oh, I have to make dinner, or, you know, that's kind of a wide range of things, like the big, the macro or the micro. It might just be that there's something right here, right now that you didn't hear, or you didn't understand, or needs to be addressed, or is a little out of sequence.
That's very cool. Actually, I never thought about that possibility. I always thought, oh, if you're thinking about the future, I never thought of using that as information, but yeah, for sure.
It's so helpful for us in writing. If we go off to think about, oh, I want to make a cup
I
of
went
coffee.
away there. I don't know what's
there.
going on.
I went away. What's not working there?
Yeah, that's very cool. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah. Which might be cool too, since you represent a lot of people who have books. And if you are reading a manuscript and you start thinking about what's for dinner, it might be an interesting indicator that there's something in that paragraph that's not quite gelled yet.
That is really cool. And you saying that reminds me that sometimes I will read whatever I'm reading and then I'll miss bits. And I've never thought about that it didn't gel. So yeah, that's very awesome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much.
Yeah.
You know, of course, the title of this episode is Being Where. I have a feeling that most of us think being here, I'm putting here in quotes, is better than not being here. So being really in the moment is so much better than being a distracted person. Well, of course, when you're distracted, it has consequences, but that hierarchy has you not look at what's happening in the moment that's driving you out of here.
Yes. And I definitely have yes, it's much better to be in the moment than being elsewhere. And yeah, I just never thought about that before. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. I so appreciate just attending your seminars and participating. It has transformed so much in my life without me doing, and just looking at new possibilities.
Here's the thing, Naz. Our minds are very interesting mechanisms. They tend to, what's the word I want? Compensate for your your experience of living. So if you suddenly have a transformational experience where you're really well in yourself and dare I say happy, satisfied, and things are going well, your mind will find a way to have that not continue.
That's very accurate because just lately I've had a lot of new possibilities, opportunities come my way, one after the other. And my daughter, it was great because my daughter has passed her driving test. We've had a lot of unexpected gifts. I mean, everything is a gift, but opportunities that we didn't think were possible, and certainly for me. And it's so funny how my mind is already looking for potentials for things that might go wrong. To
It does.
yeah, to be able to relax
Well,
into the
not only
moment.
that, it talks to you
Yeah,
and you listen to it as though it is you. So that voice you listen to isn't you. It's just a voice.
yeah, yes. Yeah,
But it worries about things. It runs off to the future to try to mitigate or make it the things that you don't want not happen. It
yeah,
worries about how to keep things in control because your mind is a control freak.
And that's its job. You know, it does not want you to run out of toilet paper. I'm very happy, that's on a minimal thing.
That aspect of it is great.
yes,
But when it interferes with your sense of well being, because it finds fault with your daughter or your husband, and you get all the reasons why they're wrong, that's
yes,
not very supportive of your well being.
definitely not.
And
Definitely.
like I say, it compensates. So we do a seminar together, say, and you fall into the moment without knowing how you got there. But life gets good and easy. And then your mind starts working on you about the future. And pretty soon you're no longer well in yourself. You're worrying about a future that hasn't arrived.
Yes. So I have a question.
Mhm.
How do you, or how do I or anyone manage the mind?
Well, this is the mind asking a question about how to manage the mind.
Well, I'll tell you, the first place is to recognize that it's not a problem. So if you walked out in Farringdon for a week and you didn't take a shower or a bath, chances are, particularly if you walked out barefoot and it might be cold and raining, but before you know it, you're going to get a little grimy. So you don't think anything of taking a shower, taking a bath, or washing your hair. It's just part of the normal maintenance of taking care of Naz's body. But most of us think it's a failure if we're not centered all the time. And that's a lot of the reason why people come to the Living Made Easy seminars that we do generally weekly, multiple times a week for us, but in different time zones, so that people can come and take basically a transformational shower so you can stop having to try and manage your mind, that it just goes into the background, kind of like, oh, phew, my hair's working now.
I have to say, it's the experience that I have when I attend your seminars. Just to be there and listen. I can't tell you how it happens, what happens, but
Well,
I just have a sense of well-being.
Well, you may want to notice that you could stay up late. We have one participant in Switzerland who shows up to the Monday nights now. It's 1 o'clock starting time, her time. That would be 12
And
o'clock
she's
your
a
time.
teacher. I don't know how she does it, but I always admire it.
Right. Now, that she's using that seminar that we do to support her in every aspect of her life. But the problem now is when you get disturbed or upset, you want to figure out how to fix it all on your own. You climb into your thought processes and you get lost there for long periods of time rather than find a way to leave Naz alone and Naz's life circumstances alone and get interested in something else for a while, not with the objective of getting better, but just with the objective of being somewhere and getting interested in something other than the complaints of your mind.
Yeah.
You know, we normally announce the Living Made Easy seminars between segments, but I know that we are pre-recording this. When this gets released, Naz, it will be in January while we are in Costa Rica. And the next Living Made Easy evening seminars are going to be February 5th and 6th. 5th in the New York time zone from 7 to 9. And on the 6th is going to be in the UK time zone from 6:30 to 8:30, or from 7:30 to 9:30 in the Central European time zone. And the theme, by the way, is magical relationships. We're doing 2 magical relationships events in February. And I really see that if we have stress in our way of relating, it trickles into and informs every aspect of our life. So I'm saying that now to invite you to either or both, and we'll be playing with it. By the way, the one that is happening on Tuesday the 6th will be translated also into German to take care of our German-speaking friends. So
That's very cool.
you're invited.
Yeah.
Thanks for being with us today, Naz. Really a treat.
Oh, it's a treat to be here with you, really.
And I'll tell you something, I have a good feeling about what's possible for you and Lawrence now, because I find that when people are being honest, like, hey, there's a little bumpy between us, rather than they're trying to put forth a really good face to the world.
Or they don't want to talk about it because they're afraid it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Then, you know, there's something really relieving when people are being honest with themselves, and then with others, there's, you have a possibility for magic.
Well, it's something I discovered here, really.
Well, here's the other thing. The other thing is we have an idea about the way we want it to go in the future. And the idea of being honest brings up the idea that somebody might say something that we don't want to hear because it'll affect how the future shows up in ways that we would not prefer them.
Yeah, you know, I'm actually reminded of when I first came to the community and how it was challenging for me to hear. And now just listening to you and being here, it's such a gift to be able to hear you.
I'm not talking about us. See, because we're pretty non-intrusive in reality. We talk in generality about specific things. But if, you know, sometimes in a love relationship, there's all kinds of fear of abandonment, loss, you know, things like that. And we don't want to hear what might be a challenge for how the future might show up. And I'm not saying like there's something wrong in all relationships. You know, if Ariel says, I want to talk with you about something, part of me goes, uh-oh, what did I do wrong?
What I do?
I have that same reaction.
Like,
There you go.
I want to talk to you about something. What do you want for dinner tonight? You don't know where it's going. So,
For sure.
thanks, Naz.
Yeah, thank you,
It
sweetheart.
was a treat.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
Now it's your turn. Let's hear what one of you listeners has to say about being here in the transformation community.
Hi, this is Holly in Brooklyn. Transformation has provided me with this opportunity to learn to listen. And this listening has provided me with a life with somebody I love, a life with friends, a life with people that I just meet. Listening has been golden.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shya's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
As we mentioned, the 5th and 6th is our Magical Relationships special evening events. Our next weekend seminar is also virtual. It's in March, Saturday and Sunday.
The power of listening.
On the 2nd and 3rd of March.
It's amazing the difference that happens when you actually listen to people. For them, for you, it is remarkable. But it's hard to imagine that things could be dramatically improved in your life situation simply by truly listening.
Really, so true. I know that when Susan Mercier, or Finch, because she goes by both names.
One is her professional name.
Finch is her professional name. Mercier is her married name. When she and I led the Speak Up course last year, it was so easy to communicate when people were listening. If people were distracted, it was like a barrier. It was so much harder to communicate.
Well, frequently I'll ask you a question and you're involved in reading something or doing something. And it's not that you're dissing me, it's that you don't even hear what I say because your receptors are elsewhere.
They're already, or if Shya's hearing aids are really cool. They have a Bluetooth aspect, so he can be listening to something on his phone and his phone won't even necessarily be in front of him. And if I talk to him while he's already engaged, he looks like he's in the room and he's available, but he's really not. So
because there's this thing that no two things can occupy you at the same time. So if you're listening to your internal conversation and somebody speaks to you, you don't hear them. So
in this case, it may be an internal conversation, but it still has the same thing. Let's take our next.
Oh, yes.
Wait. We can take Christian. Yes, that's fine. That's good. I just wanted
Christian,
to announce.
where are you, Christian?
Hey guys, I'm Christian from Munich, Switzerland. No, sorry. It's Basel, Switzerland.
Oh, you just moved from Munich, right?
Exactly.
So you still have a tale of Munich, but you're really now in Basel, right?
Absolutely. Yes. It's so in my brain. It's like Munich, yes, Munich. And it's so new that it's Basel. It's like,
Isn't Basel, Switzerland, where you grew up?
Yes, I grew up in this area here.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And how long did you live in Munich before you moved back?
I was living in Munich for about 4.5 years.
And pretty much all through Zoom time. So you probably said this is Christian in Munich a lot.
That's so true. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Before I used to be in Hamburg, and I can't recall I used to do or say like I'm Christian from Munich. Yes, it's so true.
Yeah. Well, I love that quote mistake. It was really fun because of course, as you know, today's episode is being where.
Yeah.
So, what would you like to talk about?
It was so nice listening to Nas, who was on before, because in my brain came up, my brain questioned, how can I behave my thinking or my mind? And then she asked the question. I was like, what? Also, like yesterday, I had the idea I need more drawers or a chest of drawers for my stuff to organize in the cellar in my new place. I was looking on the street and I saw a drawer for free. So it's so cool. Just being here where I am, and then things come to me. On the weekend, I had ideas. Oh, it would be so nice to have a romantic date with someone. I went on the app and I was like, poof, here, hi. And had a very romantic date. I was like, how? Sometimes I have the feeling my brain won't believe, or my mind is like, oh, when this is going to end.
You mean that life is easy?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like it shows up and it's like, oh, here it is. It's so easy.
Well, that's when you're here. But if there's a disconnect with you in your moment, then life is not easy. Things get complicated, difficult, mistakes get made, you go the wrong place, everything gets messed up. The more present you are in your life in current time, the easier life gets.
Well, the answer to your question is anytime you get upset or anytime you resist something.
Uh-huh.
So, for instance, Naz was talking about how she had a migraine this morning, and very quickly she discovered how to ease herself into what was rather than resist what was. If she had resisted it, chances are it would have been a whole lot bigger deal, more than just pain. It would have been, oh no, this can't be where. So if you want it, being easy doesn't mean that you never get migraines. It means that it's easy. Life is easy.
Well, you said something that really caught me, and I like it, that, your life shows up to support you when you're here to see that it's supporting you. But when you're lost in an upset, you're lost in thought processes or ideas that you've had before. You always have similar thoughts and upsets. You have similar body postures when you get upset. You think, well, when I'm better, I'll come out and play. But in the meantime, I'm climbing on my covers.
Sounds very familiar.
Yes.
But what I also can see with moving to Switzerland, that I have like old stories, how it is to live in Switzerland or how it would be work-wise in Switzerland. And I had how do you call this? I had like ideas how it is, but now I can discover something new. And that would not be possible like with transformation, because it's new.
I think I know what you're saying, that in your thoughts, you think you know how it's going to show up.
Yes.
Based on what you experienced 4 or 5 years ago.
Right. Yeah. But when you allow yourself to be here in Basel, Switzerland, you discover new things, new people They just sort of show up in your life.
Okay. Okay.
But it isn't like you worry about how it, like you said, you thought you wanted a date, and so you looked on the website and there was one there for you.
Okay. Cool.
You know,
Cool.
if you let your life support you, it will. But if you listen through the voice in your head that is worrying about the future or complaining about the past, what shows up does not support you very well.
Mhm.
You have to bring yourself into the current moment to see what's here rather than what you think is here, what you think Switzerland will supply for you based on what happened many years ago when you decided to leave there.
Well, I have a feeling your leaving Switzerland may have included a fib, an untruth, a lie,
A little lie.
a little lie.
Hmm.
So we know you, and we know that you're a hair and makeup artist. And I also have subscribed to your emails. So you often send out things or occasionally send out things about new makeup products, but also you generally include pictures from photo shoots that you've done. And your photo shoots were never in Munich.
Yeah.
You filmed all over the world, and this one is in Cyprus, this one's in Japan, this one's in and pictures of you different places. And back when you moved, you said, I have to move to X place because I can't get work in Basel. But now you are enough well known that I see no reason why they can't call you, because they weren't going to have you be working in Munich anyway. They wanted to have you come to Milan.
You are so right. Thank you. Yeah.
But you used the excuse, I can't find work, to move because you wanted to move and you needed a reason.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what if you just want to live in Basel and you don't have to have a reason for or against?
That's very relaxing to know.
You know, the other thing is this: Basel is a place where you grew up.
Yeah.
It's always more comfortable being in an environment that you're familiar with. It's like coming home.
Yeah, it's very much like coming home.
But it also contains some smaller ideas of you that you can put back on, like a comfy sweater of, I'm not very good, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just a novice in my business, nobody will hire me from here. All those old conversations can, it's like grabbing a coat out of the closet that you left in Basel.
Oh, yeah. You're so spot on. Yes, I can see that because, yes, like this quote from the past. Yeah. Because I can't, sometimes when I'm dealing with something confronting, like my finances or looking for whatever, I can easily like put on this old coat, and then it's not the place to be.
Well, it is a place to be. It's just not a place that's it's like taking a vacation in a bad place.
So true.
And like Naz was talking about earlier about how sometimes things are confronting. I think it's really great that you said, hey, I'd like to have a romantic date tonight. You went on an app and you found somebody and you went out and had it sounds like a really nice evening. But if you find that confronting, it's easier to sit in that, to use the metaphor again, that old code of I'm in the wrong place, so that you don't have to get up on the app and look at something new and maybe not have it be so good. And where's it going? Like that.
you. Yeah. Yeah. You're so spot on. Thank you so much. It's it feels so newing and like a new adventure. Yeah.
You know, something we didn't mention on the last
Segment.
segment, or before we called you in, is we are coming to Hamburg, Germany in the spring. We're doing an in-person course there. We're doing 2 of them. The first is on April 18th. It's the freedom to breathe, using breath as a tool just to come into your body and allow you to experience your greatness. And then the course on the Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, the 19th through 21st of April, is on the theme of simplicity. And as you were talking about your simple approach to life, I thought, yes, that's what people are looking for, the ability to not have to complexify what they're up to just really enjoy their day, their evening, their weekend, their week, their relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You're invited.
Thank you. I will be there at Simplicity, and so happy to see you there. And anyone who is listening, I invite you to join me.
Excellent.
Who knows? Somebody might go, ooh, that Christian, he sounds really good. I'm going to have to go and meet him in person.
Please.
He is really good.
You know, and also shout out to Tracy. This was Tracy's suggestion for an episode of being here. And I love that. I love that people in our community write us and say, hey, could you do an episode on this theme? Or I had an idea today. This might be really good. Feel free to write into us if there's something you'd like us to talk about, or if you want to be a guest, or submit a little listener spotlight, which is what happens in the middle of the podcast, where people talking about their experience of transformation. It's pretty easy. Also, to join us for any of our seminars, just go to transformationmadeeasy.com and you can find out how. Really a treat being with you today, Christian.
Yes.
In Basel, Switzerland.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Next week's episode,
Relationship
magic. We'll be back next week.
So come on back
And don't
miss being here.